If you watched my last video, you'll know that I had a bad experience with my last mail order tarantula, so I was excited to see that there would be a couple tarantula vendors at the Pittsburgh Reptile Show. The show was only an hour away from my house, so I traveled through the rain to pick up a few new teas in person. The show was much bigger than I imagined, and I was surprised how many other people weathered the storm on this Sunday morning. If you're into reptiles and amphibians, this would be your heaven, and I think they're completely awesome, but that's not what I'm here for. There wasn't much of a tarantula selection since this wasn't an invert show. But there are a few cool species that I had to have in my collection. So let's take a look at my new additions. I got 3 new slings, and these are officially the smallest pets I have ever owned. I thought the slings I already had were tiny, but these things are ridiculously small, and it's impossible to tell what they're going to look like as adults. Slings at this size look indistinguishable from common house spiders. So I picked up this tiny little guy, a Grammostola pulchra, the Brazilian black. And spoiler alert, I'm not going to add it to this video, but he's a ferocious little eater. The next sling I picked up is a Brachypelma amelia, the Mexican redleg, and she looks like she's in pre-molt. And the final sling may be one of the smallest pets I own now, but will eventually be the biggest spider in my collection. Lasiodora parahybana, the salmon pink bird eater. This little thing will most likely be my largest tarantula in a few years. I ordered some small containers and will probably do a rehousing video for these little guys in a few days. And check out this big girl. She's obviously not a tarantula, but an equally badass invertebrate. This is Hatogenes troglodytes, the flat rock scorpion, which is a large growing species native to Africa. I can't wait to see if we can get some feeding videos of this big girl. Next addition is a confirmed female Nonduchromatus, the Brazilian red and white. These are awesome looking teas, and this one is a bit of a feisty girl, as you'll see when I rehouse her. And finally, the new official biggest tarantula in my collection, a confirmed female Aphonopelma seemani, the Costa Rican zebra or striped knee tarantula. She's a big lady and an awesome new addition. So let's get the bigger tarantulas into nicer enclosures, and we'll rehouse the slings in a separate video. This is a flat rock scorpion, and I need to find the perfect rocks to make a proper enclosure, and I'll do an entire video on that process, but I didn't have time on this rainy Sunday, so I'm going to put her in here temporarily. She is a tank and did not want to be pushed around by my paintbrush. She has enough places to hide for now, and it's going to be pretty fun making her permanent enclosure, but that'll have to wait for a later video. Let's move on to our final 2 girls and a live audio track. Okay, this container isn't that much smaller than the container she's going to end up being in. I'm going to reuse the container from the last video that you watched, the unfortunate unboxing that went pretty wrong. I still have a few of these containers made up, so she will take one of these. This is a confirmed female Nonduchromatus, and I have a sling that I suspect might be a Nonduchromatus. So this might be a duplicate species for me, but she was pretty cheap. She's a confirmed female. She's a good size. I couldn't pass her up. So I'm not going to try to tip this big container. You can see it's pretty large. It's going to be really difficult to kind of tip it over and control it into a container that really isn't that much bigger. So what I think I'm going to do is catch cup her with an Iron City cup, get her into the catch cup, and then that'll be a little bit easier for me to put her into her final enclosure. So got a couple catch cups, got things in case something goes wrong, and let's do it. And so far she's been really chill, but you never know. She can be completely chill and then completely freak out on you. So let's cup her, see how she does. And she's kicking hairs and giving me a nice threat posture. which is good. Non-dos are kind of known to be a little feisty sometimes. That's okay. And we got her. She is kicking a lot of hairs on me here and is giving a nice threat posture, but there she is. She is really pretty. So I'll set her to the side here for a second without her escaping. Oh, kicking hairs, wonderful. She's up on the side of the container, which is perfect. Let's see if we can just coax her right down and into her hide. She does seem a little defensive, doesn't she? But that's okay. Yep. Get down there, little girl. Get down there. Come on. And there we go. I mean, it doesn't get too much easier than that, does it? Let's take this off here and get a little closer look. Those are probably famous last words. She'll probably freak out and come at me, but look at her. She is pretty. Non-do chromatus, the Brazilian red and white. Again, it could be a duplicate if that sling I have turns out to be a non-do, but that's okay. They're really hardy spiders. They're good eaters. And I'd be happy to have two if the other one does turn out to be one as well. But if not, which I guess it could be, a bunch of different things at this point. Since it's just a sling, it's really hard to tell. If it doesn't turn out to be a non-do chromatus, then I definitely want one in my collection. So I picked up this girl. I have the basic Exoterra 12-inch by 12-inch by 12-inch setup for the Alphonopoma samani, Costa Rican zebra knee, or the striped knee, as most people in the pet stores call them. She's a pretty big girl. She might be, 5.5 inches. 12 by 12 by 12, I think, is plenty of space for her, and it's kind of set up more terrestrially. I know there's kind of arguments, or maybe not arguments, but they can tend to be kept either way, terrestrially or fossorially, if you give them a really large amount of substrate and don't really give them anything to hide under, then they will usually dig. But I'm going to try to avoid that. If she wants to be fossorial and dig, then so be it. We'll keep her that way. But for the time being, we're going to set up more of a terrestrial enclosure. And I wanted to give her the option to not have to be on the substrate, because the substrate, since it's brand new right now, it's a little bit damp. Obviously not too bad. This is the normal kind of moisture content, I guess, that I usually put spiders into. But if it's a little bit too moist for her, then she can kind of hang out on the cork bark also. I'm hoping she'll be a nice display species and not really want to burrow or hide, because she is my biggest spider. So let's see if we can get the lid off before we try to move her in here. And we'll just kind of put her down inside of here. Take the lid off. I have some catch cups and things ready, but we'll check out and see what her temperament's like. And she is a brick. That is okay. I mean, it's obviously a straw and I'm not hurting her, but I am giving her a decent push here. She doesn't seem to want to move. So maybe I'll get a little braver with her then. Come on. Kind of made it difficult on myself here. Come on, little girl, you're all right. And she is a confirmed female. As you can see, she's good size, and she will get a little bit bigger than this. Come on, I don't want the substrate to fall down on you here. Come on, you can go right in there. Wow, she is just a brick wall. Come on. She's such a docile girl. Good girl. Oops, sorry. There you go, right inside your hide there. I mean, I'm practically pushing her off of this. But there she goes. Look how pretty she is. Wow. A lot of people, I think, kind of think that these are boring because they're just kind of big brown spiders. I think she's amazing looking. Look at her. Aphonopelma simani. I'm excited to see if she's a good eater. Hopefully she'll be a nice display species and she will sit out on top of her cork bark here for people to check her out. But I'll keep you updated. You know, she's got a lot of room in here. Let me kind of back out and show you. Like I said, it's a 12 by 12 Exoterra. And I know a lot of people complain about the Exoterras having the mesh screen on top. I know a lot of people that use these for tarantulas. I know a lot of YouTubers, and I know a lot of people that I've spoken to that use them. And I know there's kind of horror stories about spiders maybe being able to get their feet caught in them. So far, I can't find anybody that can really back that up. So I might take the time to make an acrylic top for it. But for now, it's just going to be the standard Exoterra setup. And I'll keep you updated and let you know how well she does. There are a ton of great videos on the way, from custom enclosures to rehousings and of course, feeding videos. So if you like these kind of videos, then please like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be notified when I upload a new video. And I'll see you in the next one.